As we promised also in our intro, we are going to continue covering the outcomes or the positive outcomes of the lavish ceremony which took place just 2 days ago to officially inaugurate the Grand Egyptian Museum. We are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Hicham Menyawi, our tourism expert, to speak in more details about this. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr. Hicham.
Good morning, Simi.
Dr. Hicham, in the speech of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in front of the attendees in the ceremony, he said that this is going to be a new chapter. In your opinion, how the gym can really redraw the tourism map in Egypt and maybe in the Middle East, not only Egypt?
Well, definitely nowadays we're in need to such this gem, the beautiful museum, with its technology, because we understand that in the 21st century the development in technology is really fast, and we should be updating our tourism industry in order to attract more categories of tourism from all over the world. I've lived with different and dealt with different nationalities, especially British and Americans, and understand the mentality of these people. They are actually focusing on culture more than anything else, and we've been lacking the culture tourism for maybe the last 10 or 15 years, and most of the tourists coming to Egypt, they were directing their tours to beach holidays like Sinai, Sharm el-Sheikh, and Hurghada, and so on, which is very good. But also, for many years, we were attracting culture tourism, which has been affected strongly over the last maybe 10, 15 years. So I think with the new Egyptian Museum, the Grand Museum, becoming now the largest museum worldwide, and there is
dedicated to one civilization. Dr. Hicham, let me know about the numbers, if you permit me, because economy means number. We had our agenda to double the number of visitors or tourists coming to Egypt from 15 million tourists per year to 30 million per year. How do you see the portion which is going to be dedicated to the Grand Egyptian Museum?
Okay, very good. One of the problems that we're facing actually in Egypt over the years is that we don't have a very strong infrastructure to accommodate the number of tourists increasing year after year. And I remember that before 2011, we were about to face a huge problem with the infrastructure, how to accommodate the million of people arriving to Egypt. And one of the disadvantages of the beautiful museum in downtown Tahrir Square in Cairo, which is the most famous museum in the Middle East, maybe one of the most famous worldwide, was that the museum was built at the beginning of the 20th century, a beautiful building, amazing and so on, but it was not enough to accommodate all the artifacts, and also not enough to accommodate the number of tourists increasing year after year.
Yeah.
So with the gym, I believe that we are giving better chance to a larger number of tourists coming to Egypt. With the technology applied in the gym also, we are attracting different sectors of tourists, because we have to understand that today in the 2025, not all tourists are coming or traveling around the world. They need a guided tour, or they need to be in groups or so. We need to attract different categories of tourists, especially the young generation, those what we call the AI generation.
Sure.
They need to be also aware of what's happening or what we are offering. So I believe that the gym will definitely double, if not triple, the number of tourists to our beautiful Egypt.
And I'm not going to be astonished at all if I found myself in the Grand Egyptian Museum listening to Akhenaten himself speaking about how he discovered Aten as a deity, and it's going to be his voice. I don't know how, but I'm expecting that. Dr. Hicham?
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Hicham, tell me also about the Grand Egyptian Museum, not only as a museum, but as a
Very good.
cultural institution and an educational institution,
Yes.
welcoming students or researchers from all over the world and all those specialists in Egyptology in specific.
Excellent. This is one of the amazing facts about the gym, actually, because it has a section for children, which is, in my opinion, when I traveled around the world and went to different museums, I found that Egypt actually is lacking this area, how to focus on Egyptology and ancient history, which is delivered to a young generation. Because if we are talking about just normal visit to the museum, so definitely it's not really an interesting visit. But if we actually do it like what's applied now in the gym, interactive visits, games, and so on, it is one of the most effective ways of attracting this young generation. So I think that also having this children section will increase the number of tourists, because many people actually they say, okay, we are not going to Egypt because maybe you cannot take our children to Egypt. Egypt is like a cultured area, and we would like to visit and enjoy the museums, pyramids, and so on. But when they know that Egypt also is providing something special for the kids, the children, so maybe it will encourage another sector of tourists to Egypt. I think this is one of the most amazing facts about the gym. Besides that, we have a reservation area and institutions for restoration of artifacts. Definitely, these artifacts, they are well displayed and well preserved, but we have to always keep an eye on them and preserve them and restore them on the go.
In addition to all what you have said, Dr. Hicham, I really want to also focus on the role of the Grand Egyptian Museum in instilling the sense of belonging and sense of pride, especially with our youngsters, with the young Egyptian generations. I mean, when they see this part of our civilization, and when they are received by their, I'm always saying that Ramses II is our grandpa, and stuff like that, to make sure that they are going to continue with saying all the time, Egypt came first and then comes history. And when they know more about Morqus Hanna, about Abd al-Halim Noor-Din, about Kamal al-Malakh, about Zay Hawass, and to take those names as role models for them and to make them that famous to the extent that we know how much they did for the sake of the Egyptian identity to be there. If you want to elaborate on that.
Yes, definitely. This is one of the things related also to the children's section in the museum, because I remember that one day I was visiting the Met Museum, the Metropolitan Museum in the United States in New York, and I went to an Egyptian section. As usual, when I visit anywhere around the world, my interest is to go and visit the Egyptian collection. And I was very impressed when I found like a group of students sitting on the floor, actually with the teacher drawing some of the artifacts among the Egyptian collection. And I was really interested to know what they are doing, so I sat with them and I talked to them, introduced myself, and I could see the spark in their eyes when they found someone from Egypt coming and talking to them in the Metropolitan Museum, something never expected by this group. And when I even left and said, okay, have a good day, and I left, and I found like 2 or 3 of the kids, they were running after me, and they were trying to, they did not have the chance to ask questions, so they wanted to continue ask questions. And I thought then about the Egyptian children. Why we don't have the same thing in Egypt? Why we don't encourage our students? And I started, I remember that was like maybe 15 years ago, when I returned back to Egypt, I started thinking about planning for programs for the schools to encourage them to send the children to the museums and to the other...
And this is exactly what's going to take place on the ground. And because of this, when the president said that the gym is going to be a new chapter in history, it's not only words, it's a fact. And inshallah, all these steps are going to take place on the ground for a brighter generation, a brighter future for the coming generations. Well, Dr. Hicham Menyawi, thank you very much for your input, sir, and we hope that next time you are going to be our prominent guest live here in the studio to speak in more details. Well, by this we come to the end of our episode. Stay tuned on Nile TV International always for more. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman.